Hello guys, this is Michael from the Board Games Chronicle. Today I have another material about the Fire and Stone, Siege of Vienna, 1683. In my first video we looked into the components, we went briefly through the game history and what does it describe. Today I would like to show you more about the rules, more about how it plays, what are components, victory rules. As you can see, the game is beautiful. It really has a tense asymmetric characteristic which makes it very appealing. So what we shall do today, we'll go first about the brief introduction, then we go about the components. I will actually go through the setup of the game, which I think would be the best way to show you the components and what means what and how do we use them. Then we talk a little about victory conditions, then about the actions of both sides because they are different. And last but not least, we will take a little deeper look into the battle action, which is probably the most important. So without further ado, let us jump to the brief game description and characteristic. So Fire and Stone, first and foremost, is a two-player game, and this is asymmetric game. One player takes the lead of the Ottomans, and this would be those red components, and the other is the leader of the Habsburgs, so the yellow components. We are in 1683. The relation between the Ottoman Empire and the Habsburg Empire deteriorated. This change in the diplomatic condition mainly stemmed from the weakening of the Habsburg Empire, because they simply were losing ground politically and militarily in Europe. So the Turks decided to act. They first of all took over the Hungary, creating a vassal country, and then decided to strike directly at the heart of the Habsburg Empire, Vienna. So what we have here is a siege of Vienna in 1683. There is no relief of Vienna yet in this game, but when I was in Essen and discussing with Capstone Games folks, we were laughing that this game has a really good potential for extension. So I would like the author to hear us out, Robert DeLeskie. You can create a really great expansion for this. Just the moment when Sobieski arrived with hussars and relieved the besieged troops. That would be really fun. In this game, we will be playing over the 5 rounds. Both sides will be trying to win the race with the time, because it's actually a race with the time, and outmaneuver each other. We'll be playing event cards, we'll be doing the actions, destroying fortifications, assaulting them, all this type of things which create a true and nice siege experience. Okay, this would be probably everything for the initial intro. Let me now go through the components, and that way I will also describe how all these things interact. So guys, this is the map. Here we have a rule book based on which we will be doing the setup and explaining the game components. So this is what we see here. Here, the Ottoman player should sit. Here, the Habsburg player should sit. We can see that we have hexes here. Yeah, so we can say this is hex encounter game. What kind of hexes do we have here? First of all, this is the Ottoman camp, and here is where they have a majority of their troops. Here we have a so-called glacis hexes. This is a no man's land. This is actually the no man's land, and nobody controls this at the beginning of the game. Then we have this first line of let's say entrenchments and fortifications of Austrians. You can see those 4 hexes. Then we have a ditch, which is here, and then we have a major part of of a city with two large ramparts. Here they have specific names, if I remember correctly. Lübl Bastion here, and the other is Burg Bastion here. Yeah. So this is how the map looks like. So of course, the Ottomans go into the direction of Vienna, and the defenders try to destroy. First thing which we need to put on the map would be the round marker. So here we have the rounds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and each round both sides will be playing the cards and will be then doing the actions or events. Once the round is finished, we move further, and here when we reach that part, that's actually end of the game, and if this marker reaches this place, that means this is the victory for Habsburgs, because the relief army has come. Then we have two morale tracks. We put the morale at the beginning at 8 on both sides. So the morale tracks goes from 8 to 1, and you have also end here, yeah, as you can see. At the moment when morale reaches 0, so end, this side loses the game. It's also important factor. Then we have the troops which are placed on the map. It's really nicely written down here. You see 6. That means we put 6 artilleries. We'll later on explain what for of the Ottomans here. This is pretty intuitive and quick setup, by the way. Then we have the hexes with Habsburgs. You can see we have one structural fortification and one cannon here. You can put it that way. Yeah. Here we have one structural fortification and one cannon too. Beautifully. Then we have 4 cannons here and one structural fortification. Yeah, this is a large bastion, and those cannons will be adding a lot of firepower to Habsburgs. By the way, the fortifications has a pretty cool impact on the battles, as they will be moving the troops backwards, yeah, from the front line. Here we have only the fortification, which could be potentially a weak spot. And on top of this, we still have 2 cannons here and a fortification. Okay. And here we have 1 cannon and 1 fortification, structural one. Please note that this, usually you can have up to 2 fortifications, 1 structural and one, let's say, field fortification per hex. But here this is a small bastion, you can have only 1. It's clearly marked on the map. So this is the troops setup, not too many of them at the beginning. Yeah, definitely. And let's move on. What else shall we put on the map? We should put the strategy cards. Both sides have a deck of strategy cards. These are the decks for Habsburgs and for Ottomans. Each of the cards has the title, what event it has, and what's the historical background to this. Some of the cards are reaction cards, yeah, response. So they can be played during the opponent's turn, and those ones, the red ones, are the regular cards. So we put them here, strategy cards, and when we have a discard pile here, we put in the discards like that, you know, uncovered cards. Here we have a cards for the Habsburgs, again, name, action, event, and historical background, and also the response ones. And there is also nice fitting space here where you put it like that. On top of this, we have a troop cards, because the troops will be fighting. Here are the small troop cards. Each side has different number of troops. I believe there is like around 20 Ottoman and 12 Habsburg ones, and they have values from 1 to 3. So 1, 2, and there should be some 3s, yeah. We put them here for the Ottomans, and for Habsburgs Yeah, we have also threes, twos, and ones. Yeah, exactly. As you can see, the setup is pretty quick and pretty straightforward. It goes, yeah, nicely forward. What else from the setup? Let me just check the rulebook. Yeah, we have the control markers. The control markers will be showing who controls particular area. At this moment in time, we have Habsburgs who are controlling most of this, so we simply mark it as a Habsburg controlled territory. Okay, so this is here, and we should also mark, of course, those bastions. Okay, that way. And central ones. Sorry to miss those. The central ones are here. As I told you, nobody controls this, but we have 3 more markers which will be able to put as Ottoman controlled. The Habsburgs will never go out to reach this. Yeah, actually, let me put it that way. Yeah, that's better. As for the components are concerned, there is one more thing. Both sides will be able to dig mines and do sorties and other stuff. So here's digging the mines. And for digging the mines, we have 2 bags. In each of those bags, we have shovels with a value from 1 to 3. There is 1, 3, like 1, 2, yeah, and 1. During your turn, you will be using them to dig the mines. I will explain later how this action works. Enough to say that we'll be placing them like that here for the Ottomans and also for the Habsburgs, like here. So the other side is not seen. On top of this, we have marker of engage. So when we will be attacking some place, we'll be marking it with this, and we have dice to roll, and we have also those field fortifications which are not used at this moment in time, and also some spurs. One last thing which needs to be added are the tactics cards, and those cards make this game pretty replayable. We have 10 tactics cards. I actually got one additional tactic card for both sides from the SN let's say special. You draw 5 tactics cards at the beginning of the game. These are really unique ones used during the battle. You put them here, and when you have a discard, we used it, you put it like that. 5 cards per the whole game. Remember, they cannot usually, at least I don't know all the events, but they cannot be purchased again. And this number has to be enough for the whole 5 rounds, yeah, for you. So this is important. So this is the set for Habsburg. Let's say 1 is used. So it looks like that. I believe now we have all the components nicely set up. The game is ready to play. So I think we can focus now on further elements. Let us talk now about the victory conditions for both sides. Before I do it, I just would like to draw your attention to the fantastic player aid created to this game. Really informative. You have everything about the game here, and it really speed ups your entry to the game. By the way, it's coolly done because you can see that this is the Ottoman and this is the Habsburg player aid. Really nicely done. So, what are the victory conditions? Let me start with the Ottomans. They will win. First of all, if they manage to reach here, this is, I believe, curtain wall. You can see this is a victory condition, also nicely marked on the map. Second condition would be when they control Ravelin and the Burg Bastion. So those 2. Again, you can see the victory conditions here, but these are not gold. Gold is one thing which is enough. This is, let's say, bronze, so you need both of them. Also, very nicely marked. The third victory condition is, of course, when morale of Habsburg reaches 0 end. And the fourth possibility to win is when this deck of cards is depleted. By depleted, I don't mean discarded, but the troops are being killed, because during the game battle bombardment, the troops can be killed. So when there are no more troops here, that's also the way for the Ottomans to win. Sorry, this pen was wrong way. So there are 4 ways to win. Control those 2, control this, go to the 0, or eliminate all the troops. Now for Habsburgs, the victory conditions will be a little different. First of all, the similar condition is with the morale. When the morale of the troops reaches 0, then the Habsburgs win. Second condition is, of course, when they manage to survive till the rescue comes, till the relief of Vienna is played. Yeah. And the third one would be also when all the troops of Ottomans are eliminated, which is not so easy. There's like 20 cards here, so it would be difficult. So you can see that the conditions, the victory conditions, to some extent are similar, to some extent are different. So yeah, the asymmetry is definitely in the game. Now, let us jump to the further section. Let me tell you now a little about the actions of the both sides. We will go also through the battle action in more details later on in the last step of this game. So the Ottoman actions, maybe before telling about the actions, 2 words about sequence of play. In the sequence of play, each round, first you have a reset phase when you put all discarded troops back to the deck, and you draw up to the 5 strategy cards, and then you play one by one, always with Ottoman troops starting. And in strategy phase, you can play the strategy card as an action, and I will tell you now about the actions, or as an event, as I told you. These are the response events, so not the best example, but yeah, you can play the card as an event. And usually this event could encompass 1 or more actions with some additional bonus to them. And in the third phase of the round, you simply advance the marker 1 hex forward. So what are the Ottoman actions? They can use each and every strategy card, saying, okay, I do not do the event, I do the action. First of all, we have entrench. And entrench is possible only in this glasses hexes, and it allows them to place 2 unimproved fortifications, like this. Hey, let me do the actions, this is good stuff. Move any number of cannons there. I think we would move with all the cannons. That also adjusts morale. Ottomans moves 1 up, it cannot move more. The Habsburgs moves 1 down, because yeah, the terrain is being conquered. Of course, this terrain is now Ottoman controlled. This is what we do. But the Habsburgs will let's say, fire at those moving troops. And Habsburgs roll 1 die for each of their cannons anywhere, and for each 6 eliminate 1 random troop. Why not to do it? Yeah, there's 1 6, and that means that we take the troop cards and we draw 1, and those guys are permanently killed. Very huge hit on Ottomans, because this is the most important and strongest troop for them with the number 3. So nice roll from the Habsburgs. And this is entrench. Then we have assault, and assault is actually the battle. So we'll not be showing this now, we'll show it in a moment. There is no the action which you will call move. There is always either the entrench in this section or assault. Yeah, that's important thing. My Mine is an action which allows the Ottomans to draw one tile here, separately look at this, and put it here. And at the moment when the numbers on those tiles reaches 4, so let me say this is the situation I have. I'm announcing I'm doing the mine action. I draw just this. See that I have 4. I can simply show it that way and perform an action against the enemy fortification. What can I do? I need to be adjacent, of course, to the hex where I would like to make an action. That's important. And I can either blow up one structural fortification, or I can blow up all improvised fortifications. So in this case, I blew up this, and this cannot be rebuilt. So this was entrench, assault, mine. Let's jump now to fortify, and fortify adds one improvised fortification to a hex you control, which has 0 or 1 fortification. We cannot add more here, we have already 2 here. And after adding this fortification, you may also move any number of your cannons from any hexes you control to any other hexes you control. Last but not least, there is an action bombard for Ottomans, and they can choose one Habsburg control hex adjacent to hex we control. So at this one time it's only that. And what they do, they roll 1 die for each cannon they have adjacent to it, and if you roll 2 or more 6s, you will remove 1 structural fortification. It's very difficult to get 2 6s on 6 die, but you have some actions which allow you to do stronger bombard. At this moment in time, we would not be able to do bombard because we just destroyed it, but let's assume it is still here. So let's see. You see 1 6, so unfortunately nothing happens. So these are the 5 actions for Ottomans. Entrench, I showed you here. Assault, we'll show in a moment. Mine, which is blowing up a fortification. Fortify, which is adding improvised fortifications. And bombard, which can damage the structural fortification and remove it. For the Habsburgs, there will be slightly different array of actions, and there will be 5 of them, not 4 of them, not 5. First of all, we have sortie. In sortie, we attack the Ottomans. So we automatically get immediately one victory, one morale. And when we attack an Ottoman control hex adjacent to hex you control. So again, this is battle. So assault from the Ottoman side is a battle. Sortie from the Habsburg side is a battle. Important to note and important to remember. Then we have fortify. So add 1 improvised fortification to hex you control with 0 or 1 fortification. So again, this is very similar to the Ottomans. Remember, you can have only 1 fortification maximum here, but you can add fortification, for example, here. This is fine, and have 2 of them. Then we have barrage, pretty similar to Ottoman, but you roll 1 die for each of your cannons anywhere on the map, and the Ottomans roll only adjacent. And remember that you have more cannons, you have like 9 cannons, and you will be eliminating the enemy troops. So if you roll 2 or more 6s, they need to eliminate randomly. So let's do a test. We have 1 6, so no troop is eliminated. You see, you can say that there are dice in this game, and you roll them, but you good luck. No, I think the probability is really nicely equal in this game as far as the rolls are concerned. There are so many of them that you have simply even out the probabilistic, even results. The last thing is surprise, surprise, mine. Yeah. Habsburgs can also do the mines. You play a randomly drawn tile face down in the tunnel space. Yeah, this was good draw. Let us say that they reached 4, so they make it visible, and they will be blowing up actually the improvised fortifications, all of them. Yeah. So in this case, we would have such situation that it is blow up. Let's not do it for the sake of presenting the battle. I think it will be more interesting to show it that way. Okay, so these were all the actions which both sides can do. Some of the actions are similar, some are pretty different. As I told you, this is the asymmetry in this game. Let us now jump to the last point which I wanted to present to you today. So the actual battle. Let us assume that Ottomans would like to storm this bastion and would like to play a battle. We'll be playing it here. How do we do it? First of all, the question is whether the defender would like to defend or not. So whether this battle is contested or uncontested. In case it is uncontested, simply we'll be rolling for the defender losses. We roll if Habsburgs are retreating. We roll 1 die for each cannon. We have everywhere, anywhere. If Ottomans only adjacent, it's always like this, that the Habsburgs can fire from all their hexes, and Ottomans only from the hex adjacent to this. And yeah. So this is how it works. But more interesting is the contested version. What first happens, we'll be using the troop cards. Let me do some space here for the troop cards. So the number for Habsburgs is always maximally 3, but they can also use less if they see, oh, doesn't make sense to fight. It's lost case. Maybe we should simply retreat. So they take 3 cards. They do not show to the opponent. Let me use this here. And the Ottomans, first of all, the maximum is 3, but it can be enlarged. If they have a traceable link back to camp, then they will be able to increase it. When they defend, maximum is 4. When they attack, they can add +1 for each adjacent control hex. Let's assume that we have such situation. And we need to add control. So in this case, they say we assault from those 2 hexes here, and we have 3 basic cards, +1 card for this hex, +1 card for this hex. In total, we have 5 troop cards, which will be fighting. And let me just shuffle it a bit. Then we should play tactic cards. I will not be doing this here. You need really to look for tactic cards. Some of them are for battle, some for moves, some for assault, but they would be able to play the tactic card. Then, in the third steps, all the cards are being revealed. Tactics cards are being resolved simultaneously at the same time. It is important, unless they state something else. So these are the troops of the Ottomans. Ooh, that's not good. And here are the troops of the defenders. These are also not the most powerful, although, yeah, it's not bad. We have like 1, 2, 8 in the first front line, and here we have like 6. So we shall see what will happen. After revealing the cards, we apply effect of tactic cards, of course. Now we apply the effects of fortifications. The attacker moves troops from their front line to the rear line for each fortification on the attacked hex. 1 per improvised and 2 per structural. So we'll move those back. Yeah, and now we have a draw 6-6, which unfortunately means that the Ottomans, the attackers, are losing. But we shall see, because we'll be still rolling for casualties. No, we don't play the tactic cards. And now we will be rolling dice. Ottomans roll 1 die for each of their cannons on or adjacent to the attack hex. As I told you, they always use only the cannons which are adjacent to the hex, and Habsburgs rolls 1 die for each of their cannons anywhere. Now the interesting thing is that for each 6 rolled, your opponent will be eliminating 1 random troop card from the front line. So will not be choosing, it will be a random card, but the maximum is 2. So it will be really exciting to see what's going on. So we still have like 9 of those cannons for Habsburg. So let's see how much they roll. Wow! They didn't roll any 6s. That's poor. Let's see what Ottomans will do. They have 1 6. So here we take those. We shuffle them. We take 1. Okay, this is permanently eliminated. And now we do the resolution. Compare the battle value of troop cards in player's front line only. 5, 6, and we see who has won. If the attacker won, remove the defender's control marker. Actually flip it. And to improvised, remove the defender control marker, fortifications, and cannon. So all of the stuff is removed. Add the attacker's control marker and 2 improvised fortifications. Attacker morale +1 can be larger, and defender morale -1. And if Ottomans attacked won, they may move any number of their cannons onto the attacked hex. So they do like this. It was a successful attack. In case of victory by the Habsburgs, Ottomans would lose 1 morale, and there will be some special case about eliminating some troops of the Ottomans in order to remove some fortifications, field fortifications, but I will not be going into those details. So this is how the battle is being resolved. As you can see, really nice progress by the Ottomans. Those cards goes to the discard, so they are not removed. They simply will not be used this turn. At the beginning of the next round, they will come back here again. By the way, when you place the troops for the battle, you simply choose them, not draw randomly. You can choose which troops will be there and how many would you like to have. You have only the upper limit. Habsburg had maximally 3 here, Ottomans maximally 5. They decided to use both limits, but they didn't have to. That will be all for the battle. I hope that showed you how this game plays and what's it about. Okay, guys, let me conclude here. In this brief video, I wanted to show to you the Fire and Stone, the game mechanics, the background behind the game, what actions we have, what victory conditions, what components, how it plays. It's really a really exciting game. I cannot wait to bring this to table again. With this video, I hope that I also created some wish and desire among you to put your hands on this fantastic product. What I would like to add is, if you like this video, kindly please give thumbs up to this. If you'd like to see more content like this, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel. You may rest assured that I will be creating more content for this game, like full game playthrough. So you can see how it goes. Last but not least, should you have any questions, comments, please use the comment section below this video. Thank you for today, and here you another material from the Board Games Chronicle. Bye, see you.